Hi, girlies. Welcome to Book Please Podcast. We are virtual today because our girl Amanda is home in New York for Christmas, but we missed her too much that we needed to make
Aw.
it work this week. How
Hey
is it?
guys, I'm happy to be back. I feel like I'm so used to looking forward to this every week that when I didn't have
Yeah.
it last week, I was just like, ah. But Cassidy girl, thank you for holding it down.
Yeah, she held it down, but we certainly missed you. And
Aw.
one advantage to virtual is I have somebody just jumping on mommy. Mr. Cash, you're back on the
Yay.
pod. Say hi, Bubba.
Wait, I got you.
Oh, are you gonna bring your grandma's dog?
This is
Cash,
Luigi.
look! Oh my goodness, Luigi! Cash, that's little Luigi. That's your cousin.
Aw. They're both
You
like,
guys
put me
better
down.
subscribe to our YouTube so you can see these dogs because you're missing out if you're doing audio only. We have some fluffy little babies with us. We are
Yep.
so excited to be here. We just figured we would catch up a little bit. We do have a guest author on today, and we are so excited. Her name is Mary Belle. She wrote a two-book series. It's an Italian love story. The first book, I'm going to put Cash down because he's getting all chaotic. You know what it is? I bought a surprise little toy for him just in case he got crazy when Mary came
Teasing
on.
him.
If you hear any ASMR, that's me opening the toy. So that he discovered it. So there goes that. That was
You're
my
such a good
plan for
dog mom.
that was my well, I'm trying to be a good businesswoman, take care of my child while we're recording so that he doesn't interrupt Perfect Mary during our interview. But
Love that
back
for
to
you.
Mary, she has this amazing, first of all, look at this gorgeous book. Vivi Il Momento is the first one in the series. It's a two-book series, and I cannot say enough good things. You can hear us talk about it in the second half of this episode. She's going to be on with us, Mary Bell, the author of this. So please stay tuned. But because Amanda's back, we have to do our girl talk, a little banter, and then we will get into our interview.
Let's do it.
So, we have to talk about something that is kind of a sad development about something that we talked about before.
Mm.
Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox are rumored to have broken up shortly after their pregnancy announcement last month, a few weeks ago, really.
I don't know if I believe it because didn't they break up once before?
Yes, I think that this is just like a temporary situation, and I think somebody who's like a source familiar kind of said it was like a temporary whatever.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's some things going on. It's super unfortunate because, this is a time that she wants to be like just relishing in her happiness,
No.
and it's really sad to hear.
I think they'll get back to I don't know any couple that's more perfect for each other than them.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm
they're
not
so
worried
like
about it.
passionate. Yeah,
Maybe
I
she's one
agree.
of those women that she's so hormonal while she's pregnant. She's like, just
Oh
leave
my,
me alone.
she's like, get the fuck away. I can understand if the man is, do better. Do
Do
better, Mr.
better.
Machine
Rub her
Gun.
feet.
No, I'm sure they'll be okay. I mean, wishing them all the best and for their baby. Like I you know what I did see though? I saw some rumors which obviously people are running with this that she is like I'm like I am just like everybody needs to shut up. Like she is not with another man. There's like dating rumors of Megan
With
Fox with
who?
Michelle Marone.
Oof.
And they were like,
Oof.
and I'm
Girl,
like,
get
can
it.
everybody please, girl? I'm like, can everybody please stop? Like, she's pregnant with another man's baby. Like, the dating rumor stuff, doesn't she get a pass on like these tabloid stories?
Mm.
However, I will say this a clip of them together, this is why it has come out. A clip of them together has now surfaced and it is from when they had worked together. Like he's overseas working on a film, like whatever.
Hmm.
So it's not even like they're near each other. But this, the video, instantly made me ship them. Like it was flirty, it was
Uh,
saucy, it was something.
I don't know. I love Megan Fox, but like, go back to Machine Gun Kelly. Leave
Yeah.
our
Well,
beautiful
she will.
stallion.
We need him open so he can play Enzo in The Housemaid. So like,
Uh,
let's go.
he is such a beautiful specimen. If you
Yes.
watch 365 Days, hmm,
I need to watch that actually because you keep talking
what?
about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's like three of them, I want to say. Two, three, but yeah, there's three. But It's so good. Even the girl that he films that with, I ship them together. Like I just,
Yeah. Anyone with Michelle Marone, it's gonna work. You're like, yep, ship because she's so perfect.
I'm like, I'm so jealous.
That is
Share.
so funny.
Okay,
I'm
I'm done.
dead.
I'm done
Okay.
drooling.
All right, we'll move to the next item. Okay, this one I really need to like dive into and get off my chest a little bit. Everybody leave Blue Ivy alone.
I
So
agree.
Beyonce's daughter was in an incredible film. I actually just saw the trailer. I was at the movies and I saw the trailer and it like just captured me. It is for, ooh, Cash, did you like her in there too? Go get your toy. It was in the Mufasa film. She plays a character. Blue Ivy plays one of the lions, and I mean, Beyonce was like talking about her, choked up, speaking about her daughter. She's like, I
Mm,
cannot believe how she played this role. Just hearing her, seeing her, like it just was so beautiful to see her interview with her daughter, and she just did this incredible thing and she wears this beautiful gown and she wears makeup and she's 12 and everyone has something to say about her look for the carpet for
always.
her film.
Mm. I personally thought she looked beautiful. And I think people need to understand she's not a regular 12-year-old. You know, the Kardashians, their kids dressed a little, their own
Yes.
style.
You know what? It's like she's 12. She just filmed a movie. Can we not? Like, can we focus on that? How about that's the storyline? Like, leave this beautiful girl alone. Let her live her life. We were all there once. I was wearing my mom's clothes. I was begging to put on a lip gloss. She just shot a movie. I'm sure she's old enough to wear a nice dress. Like,
And
let's let
I
her
have
be.
little sisters, and the things that they do, like their skincare, my sisters wear makeup. My mom did not let me do that when I was 12 or 10.
Yeah.
So it's so different. Times are so different now for kids that I'm just like, girls that are like 16, they're 25.
Let me talk about your sisters for a
Okay,
hot
go.
second because you're home and you're sending me updates. These girls,
Yeah.
they have Taylor Swift on their walls. They have three cute little dogs. They do skincare. Like every update you send me, I'm like, I'm hanging out with the wrong sister. Like, can I please be hanging out with your sisters? Because
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with them.
Ugh,
Obsessed with them. We would be
I don't
best friends.
I don't let them put on music. My little
Oh
sister's
my
like,
God.
Can I do skincare on your face? Your face looks terrible. I'm like, leave me alone. Leave
Oh
me
my gosh. Okay, that's mean. And your skin is stunning. But they have to be annoying sisters to some degree. So
Oh yeah.
we'll let them pass. And they're very young. They sound wise beyond their years, and I love them
Growing up
truly.
fast.
Another thing, actually, like in the book world that I want to talk about, we read Britney Spears' book, Piece of Me. Now
Yep.
there's going to be a movie about her life, which is going to sort of be based off of her tellings in the book. And something amazing that I heard was that John M. Chu, who was the director of Wicked,
Mhm.
which was a phenomenal film. Everybody knows it. I don't want to hear it. I know, and I know you loved it as
I
well.
loved it. Yeah.
John M. Chu, who was so like creative, like his mind is just something to be studied. He is so incredible. He brought Wicked to life in such an incredible way. He is going to be the director for Britney's movie that was based off her book, Piece of Me. And I just feel like it is in such great hands.
Oh, I can't wait. I love the book. We both love the book. But then it's going to bring up like I feel for her and I feel like I'm going to be all sad for her again. But, I hope they do like how she's doing now, like, like in the film.
Yeah, well, she's going to be a part of it.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
So
yeah. So
I
it'll
think
be
that,
her side as
yeah,
well.
it'll be good. There will be things of like how she's doing now. I'm sure they're going to
Mhm.
tell it in an appropriate way. Like, I can't see anyone taking this on, especially someone like John M. Chu, who is going to, diminish her name in any way. Like, I think it is in such careful hands, and I'm so excited to see it play
Me
out.
too.
Uh,
We can do
I
a little, we can watch it together.
Yes, I can't wait. I cannot wait. One more other book to movie news before we get into our ratings of our book. So we loved It Ends With Us.
Mm,
That is
love.
another one that came out this year from Colleen Hoover's like best-selling, I think, novel. It was everything and more. Justin
Hmm.
Baldoni was on the project as well as someone who acted in the project. So he was behind the scenes, in front of the camera. He was our Ryle. Like he did a phenomenal job. And obviously, there was a lot of drama on set.
I still want to know if any of the drama is true, what's been confirmed. I feel like
Well,
nothing's confirmed. It's all rumors.
nothing, we don't know the truth. We know a lot of hearsay, we know a lot of the like speculatory things. But what I will say is his response to in a recent interview has me uncomfortable about the future of the sequel. So basically, Justin Baldoni was asked in an interview about doing a sequel, and he was kind of dancing around the answer and was like, we're not even really thinking about a sequel. We want to be present. Like, what kind of an answer is that?
Honestly, maybe he doesn't even know if he's going to be part of it. That's what I could think.
Oh,
Like
girl.
maybe he's not in the
But
conversations.
he
But
was
I
what,
hope
a
that
director, a producer on the project? Like, he brought this to life with Colleen. Like, he was number one on this film. And
yeah,
then,
I would be disappointed if he's not in it.
yeah, I would be devastated. And I
Mm,
think it's like, you know what? We all are going to work with people that aren't our best friends, and we have to put on a happy face and do it. And you took on this project, finish it.
yep, I agree. Don't let us down.
Don't let us down. The way he answered that question, he was just like, we're just like staying present in the moment. Like, what does that
Mm,
even mean? Like, we're just, I'm like, that's not even like you could have had time to come up with an answer. Like, you could have said, like, a lot of pieces have to come together to see how we're going to work on a sequel, if we're going to work on a sequel, if things just like being present. Like, that just means like you literally have nothing to say.
yeah.
You have no idea what
It's
to
like
say about this
to be determined.
Sir, you were caught the F off guard. I
You
am
would think
dead.
his PR rep would have something already like, well, if they ask you about the sequel, this is what you say.
Yeah. Yes. Like, we all know that's what you're going to get asked. Like,
Yeah.
someday. Come on.
Hmm.
Anyways, that
Oh,
really that was
mm.
frustrating to hear for sure.
Well, I hope that changes in, the next film. Keep the original cast and everything's great.
Yes. Prayers for that. Okay, before Mary comes on, let's get into our book rating because you weren't here last week. We saved this piece. We finished One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was our kind of like, it was a love story book. There were two love interests. There was a helicopter crash. A girl was in love with her husband. He dies. She moves on painfully after years and not wanting to believe that he was dead. But the crash site, they found pieces of the helicopter. They found the pilot dead. They presumed him dead. She had to move on. She's now engaged. And then her husband calls her and he's alive. And
Mm.
it was a back and forth. Was it going to be Sam? Is it going to be Jesse? What's going to happen? How is the story going to unfold? And now we have our answer.
I
What
would
did you
say,
think?
I think we assumed, we already like guessed what would happen because we
Mm-hmm.
said, both of them are not the same people anymore, so there's no way they're gonna end up together. So
Yeah,
I knew she would
that's
get back with Sam.
exactly what happened. You knew that early on. That was something that you had been saying like from far before we even got here. Like, she's a different person now. And it was fairly predictable, I will say. People love this book. Like, they were like brought to tears by it and so moved by it and so torn by it. But I think it's very clear that, even before the accident, like, Jesse wanted to continue traveling and doing things, and she's like, you know what, settling down sounds nice, slowing down sounds nice, planting roots. And he wasn't there, and surely wasn't there when he came back either.
Hmm. I would say for me, the author she foreshadowed what would happen. So
Hmm.
there's a part in the book where she's like, and then I real like when he was commenting about her hair, like, she's not the same person anymore. I was like, oh, that's it. Now I know.
Yes,
So I
yes.
knew that was
It's
going to
like
be
those
like the main
little
thing.
lines that you
Hmm.
retain and you know. And yeah, I mean, I was always Team Sam, so I'm very happy with how it unfolded, with the ending. I loved how, Sam took a moment to take his power and say, I will communicate with you when I'm ready, because like this is like a load of shit. I loved how, like, when she was going to find him, he found her as well. Like, at the same time that she was going to go and tell him, I don't think she needed to go through like a whole like slumber party and sex life with Jesse to figure it out. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you will always wonder, like, you fully, fully, fully closed that door. He was your husband. So, okay. fine. I liked how they both like came together and they were both worried. What was the
Mhm.
other person thinking? I don't know if I really cared for like Jesse popping back in to be like, I get it now. I get it now,
Oh, but
Emma.
I'm happy he found someone. I like that
Yes.
ending. I was like, oh, he got his happy ending too. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that.
She wrapped it up with a bow.
Yep, yep. So it was good.
So what is your
Um,
rating?
okay, so for me, I'm gonna explain my rating first. So
Okay.
I would say very easy read. If you love love stories, this is definitely a book for you. For me, it reminded me of the film Castaway, if you guys have seen that, where and it ends the same way. Like it's the same exact thing, except he has a volleyball as a best friend when he's lost on an island.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like it's been done before. I rated it a 3, which is
Hmm.
3 is probably the lowest I ever rate books. And
Hmm.
that's, oh my God, that's not that great to say. But it's because, I thought
You're
it
like,
was
this is bottom of
good.
the barrel for me.
No, I thought it was good, but I just I don't know. I hate to say it, I wish there was some kind of twist, but I know that's not the book it is. But
Yeah.
I would say the writing was good, storyline was good, well written if you do like it, but it just, not my cup of tea, which
Yeah.
now I feel bad about my rating because I just don't like, lovey-dovey stuff.
I will say this, as a romance book girly, I definitely needed more. It was a little too like predictable for me, not too like exciting, not too deep. Like again, we always go back to this, but like a reminders of him it ends with us type of book is more where I'm at with these books. I will say like the love story that we read with the author Mary who's about to come on, Vivi Il Momento, like that there's just something about it that like keeps you
Hmm.
captured. So yeah, for me, it wasn't my favorite style of love book. I will say I'm torn between giving it a 3.5 or a 4. It was well written. I liked the storyline. I wasn't I was interested in seeing who she ended up with, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to make this up right
So
now.
you like
I
a
enjoyed it.
3.75.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
We'll do
And I
that for
love
you.
Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think she's a great
Yes.
author, not to knock her whatsoever. And we loved Seven Husbands. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I don't have really bad things to say about her writing, and it was fun. It was a fun, nice little read. It was okay.
It reminded me of Ugly Love.
Girl, did you just walk away when you said that? She said it reminded me of Ugly Love, and then Amanda proceeded to get up and walk away.
I
Were
didn't
you
want.
putting the dog away?
I started barking, so I closed the door.
Yeah, it's really funny, but like I'm gonna leave that in just because like you with your mic drop and then you said, I'm done with this shit.
But
I'm done.
I
That's
would
really
say too, it's like, for example, the book that we just read, Mary's book, I feel like it was mature love, whereas
yeah,
and there was a lot of
yes,
layers, whereas this book was more like straight to the point. Like I
yeah,
wish there was more character development,
yeah.
but
Mary's
it's
book
okay.
was like witty banter. It was punchy. There was
Hmm.
toxicity. There was family
It was
drama. There was so much.
spicy.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
spicy. There was so much
Hmm.
smut. That
Stay
was, it was great.
tuned.
Yes. So let's conclude here. We will catch up with you guys in a second when Mary is with us.
If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. We're also on TikTok and Instagram at Book Please Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned. Hi, girlies. Welcome back to Book Please Podcast. It's Alina here.
Hey, guys, it's Amanda again.
We are so excited. Finally, we have author Mary Belle on with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I just adore you both, and I'm just super
Oh.
excited to have a chat.
I feel like following you on social media and like just our little chats and interacting, I feel like we really know you and we feel like so close to you already.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people say that, and I've realized that my marketing strategy is not really a strategy, it's just being myself. And it's actually a lesson I pass on to my daughter. Just the people who love you will find you. And I think that's why you probably feel that way, because from my stories to my posts, it is just straight me.
We love that. So, before we get into your series, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? We would love our listeners to get to know who Mary Bell is.
Sure. I am a mom and a wife. I live in Dutchess County, New York, about an hour and a half north of New York City. and I call myself a New York, New Jersey hybrid. So I am Bronx born and lived on Long Island and then moved to New Jersey. And then I married the first man I ever met. He
Oh my
was,
gosh.
yes, he
Love
was
that.
one of the visitors in my mom's hospital room because my mother, no, not my mother, my mother in law, my father, and my stepfather all went to grammar school together.
Oh wow.
And so Jay, my husband, was one of the first people ever in the hospital room back in the days where they actually did that. Like nobody's allowed in anymore.
Yeah.
So when we started dating, he was in Yonkers and I was in Jersey, and so that's how we ended up in New York. He's law enforcement, so we had to stay in New York. And I have quite a history of different jobs, and I always wanted to write a book. And as I ticked off the years, getting closer to 40, I said, now is the time. And so I took a trip that we took to Italy in 2015, and I just made up a romance story. And here we have two books.
I mean, the books, we can't wait to get into them. They're absolutely amazing. I don't know if you saw, but we do a wrap up every year of like our top five favorite books that we read in 2024, 2023. We do it each year. And I definitely put you in my top five because
Thank
I like
you.
obsessed. I
He
am
loves
a
love.
romance book girly. But also, like, it just had so many elements,
Mhm.
so relatable, and then there's also like another woman piece, the family drama. Like it just kept me, it definitely kept me hooked. And I will say, Amanda and I are from the tri state area. We live in Florida, but I am a Jersey girl. She's from New York. And of course, we naturally just like gravitated toward each other.
Mary, I have to say, I was born in the Bronx. Now I live on Long Island.
Oh my, yeah, it's just a whole vibe, and that is my niche market. I got to tell you, not that you have to be Italian American or New York, New Jersey girl to enjoy it, but through all my marketing efforts, I have just really found that the people who celebrate the book and support and really fall in love with the story, whether you're a romance gal or not, because like a lot of people sort of give feedback like, "Oh my God, it's so much romance, it's almost like fantasy. Like we just dream that this story would happen." But I feel like that. I feel like we all do when we're younger, right? Like
Mhm.
you do dream of like
Yes.
meeting the love of your life on vacation.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's my girls from New York and New Jersey, and just the Italian American, like, and
Yeah.
exactly what you
Mhm.
said. It's family. It is the culture. It's the food, the wine. Like everybody texts me after or sends messages. They're like, I just want to eat wine and drink pasta all day long.
Yes.
And that's like my vibe too. Like if you came to my house, my husband's throwing food at you like a
Mhm.
little Italian grandmother. We're not happy unless you leave full, and it's just I sort of infuse that into everything that I write.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
Greek and my family is very similar. Like I
Mhm.
feel like Greeks and Italians,
Oh
one
yeah,
and the same. And it's like my mom's love language is food. It's so funny. Like my boyfriend and I will talk about how when he met my family, forget it. He thought the appetizers were dinner. Like that's just how it goes. And I will say, totally agree. Reading your books, I was like, I need a glass of wine and some pasta and just like open the pages and I'm in Italy.
yeah.
For me, I just want to say, when I was reading it, I was like, I need to go to Italy. It was never on my bucket list, but now it is. And
Now
then
it is.
also, what I loved most, and it was so spicy. I loved it. It was so spicy. I was just like, wow. And I like that you kind of like get straight to the point. You don't like, oh, chasing and all that thing. It's just like, this is what I want and I'm gonna get it. And I was just like, oh, I love it.
Yeah,
It's so
and
forward.
that's funny because that's kind of my personality in a nutshell. And you get so many different reviews from people. So you have people who read super smutty, like smutty, like the word
Yeah, like deep. Yeah, sometimes
crazy.
it's a lot.
And they're like, yeah, that was not enough for me. I'm like, okay. And then you have the people who are like, they don't want a lot. And like, I have one, I think it's like a 2-star review, and they're like, the review says a whole lot of sex. That's what the review says. And I was like, okay. I mean, I thought I weaved in a lot of extra things besides them just having sex, but whatever. To each her own.
That is
Um,
really funny.
it is, and it's just you can't please everybody. And I think that's going to be my vibe. Is I do like a lot of the sexy scenes, and they are
Mhm,
fun to write. But like, I don't really use like the offensive wording or
mhm.
like super crazy stuff. I call it like sort of tasteful, steamy, sexy. I mean, there's a lot of it in there,
No,
but
I totally agree.
That's
And I feel
great.
like
Yeah.
it's so metaphoric for life. Like that's what it's funny how you have one person saying it one way and then the other is like, oh my gosh, the whole thing was raunchy. Like that is it's just so classic. Why
yes.
don't you actually, let's take a moment to just, if you want to, in your own words, kind of explain. I have the books here. So your first book in the series is called Vivi il Momento, which means live in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bella Vita, Beautiful Life, both
Yep.
in Italian. So why don't you just give our listeners just like a little synopsis about what your books are about?
Sure. I call it like a modern day version of Under the Tuscan Sun, which, depending on how old you are, you may know that movie, you may not, with Diane Lane. But in that movie, she gets divorced and she travels to Italy to sort of find herself. It's sort of like an Eat, Pray, Love, but the Italian version. And I call my books the modern day version of that, combined with From Scratch on Netflix, which was that 8 episode series with Zoe Saldana, and she goes to Italy, and it's all that
Mhm.
food culture. It's wonderful, minus the horribly sad ending. If you've seen it, we don't have one of those for the most part. And then a mild 365 days. Have either of you seen that?
Whew, that is that's why I like it spicy.
Guilty pleasure. Yeah, that I don't even know how to say it.
We were just talking
Michelle.
about Michel
Oh,
Marone. We were
yeah.
just we always find a way to bring him up in our episodes.
If this becomes a movie or a series,
I know.
we need to cast him.
Let's tag him 4,000 times and hope he
Yes.
sees this. But yeah, that is my guilty pleasure too. I mean, and if anybody's seen that, like I say, it's like a mild because it's a mild, like
Hmm.
it's mild. But anyways, it's the whole purpose of it was that Mia, who is a Jersey girl, she's just going through it like in her mid 20s, like all of us do, and she decides she's just gonna go to Italy for a trip, and she's living in the moment, Vivi il Momento, which is really me. I have a big old tattoo on my hip that says Vivi il Momento, which happened before I even knew I was going to write a book. Because after I had my daughter, you learn really quickly. I'm a planner, and when you have a baby, when you have a child, you can't plan for much. It was my reminder to myself to just live in the moment and just sort of enjoy things as they come. So I wanted to write to like my younger self to do that more. Go travel, go explore, go, don't sit there and wait for a guy to find you. Like, just go enjoy things. And then usually when that happens, it's happened in my life, and I'm sure it's happened in yours in many ways. When you're not looking for something, those things find you in varying, ways. And the whole thing was, yes, it's love, it's romance, but it's, living adventurous and trusting yourself and learning about yourself and learning from other people in different cultures. It's a little bit of everything.
Mhm. What advice would you give for someone, like, for example, I'm pretty much like you. I live in the moment. I will go out to dinner by myself. Like, I'm absolutely like that. But there are people that are a little more reserved, kind of scared to put themselves out there. Is there any advice to kind of get them started on how to live in the moment?
Kind of like the same advice. Everybody's like, "How'd you write a book?" I'm like, "I just started typing." Like everything is scary. It's scary. You could sit here and be like, "Oh my god, how am I ever going to have a kid?" But you just do it, and then you learn it as you're going. How am I ever going to be married? You learn it as you're going. And every single stage of life, you're not going to know everything to
Mhm.
everything. You're going to fail, and really the only when you say you're going to fail, it's just that you're going to learn things in the process, and then you're going to do it better later on. So I don't even really take that as failure. It's hard to give advice because you kind of want to just say you have to have the balls to do the things.
Yeah.
You just have to do it, and if you really have a passion for something, you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else is going to. So I can't sit there. I have a fantastic husband. He's so supportive. He's so wonderful. And even still, as much as he believes in me, if I was sitting there waiting for his approval, like, hey, you really got to go do this podcast, you're going to get on the podcast, or you're going to do whatever you're doing. You're not going to shed your best light doing those things if you're doing it for other people. Um, and the more that you do things, the better that you get. I don't even know how many podcasts I've done, but I'm also a chatty person. So I don't know. It's hard for different personalities, but you have to find that thing that really speaks to you. And like I said, have the balls to just do it. And if you fail, you fail, but at least you try.
Yep, and no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. Viva Memento. Let's go.
I feel like we just put so much pressure on ourselves. Like we have to do it this way, or it's all about like the way it should be done, or how our timelines. And I feel like that was such a message in this book.
Mhm.
And I love how you started off kind of with the two perspectives of Mia and
Mhm.
Gennaro separate, and then we met them later and kind of the things that they're facing. And I really appreciated how we're going through like Mia's life in the beginning, and she has this like toxic guy who's like not fully committed, not fully in. Like she has this moment, she goes to Italy when she's really down and she's telling herself these things like, I am not going to fall for this, for the next guy I see. I'm not going to have
Mhm.
any expectations. I'm not. And it's just like sometimes something presents itself and you'll know you've learned too from your lessons in the past. Like when your gut is going to tell you when something isn't right. And she almost was like holding herself back. And Gennaro too, from his end of things with the things he faces with his parents and the pressure and maybe, he can't seek out women and he's more distant, and it's like just let yourself enjoy it and
Mhm.
see what is in front of you without having to put so much pressure of like, I said I wasn't going to do this or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
we tend to overthink it's just a female thing. So like, there's memes about it about women with their 500 browser tabs open at any given moment. And,
Mm-hmm.
men are just different creatures. So and you'll read this in my book too. I celebrate Gennaro and as much as Mia. I do not paint Mia as the queen that's to be treated like a princess. Like he's just as important to her and
Mm-hmm.
she treats him just as well. And like I have a marriage like that, and even in our marriage, like we've been married 14 years, and there's a lot of hard work that helped keep us together. Because if anybody tells you that every year of their marriage is great or that they haven't had any troubles, they're lying to you. You
Mhm.
could live with your best friend, and you'd still have trials and tribulations that you have to get to be like, wow, do I really want to be this person's roommate still? So all of these lessons that you learn through life, they require learning and growing, apologizing, being better over and over and over again. So whether it's relationships or whether
Mhm.
it's your career path, right? Like I used to work at well, maybe and in restaurants and event planning and at a hospital and a financial planner's office and a weight loss camp for kids. Like I have done a variety of random things. And every single one of those jobs has brought me to here where I've used every
Mm-hmm.
things from every job to help me basically become an entrepreneur, a business owner. This is my business, right? How do I market myself? How do I learn how to do all of these things?
Mhm.
And all of those lessons from my relationships to my career and even motherhood, because living in the moment is what I try to remember every day. Even today, I'm rushing from one thing to the next dance class to bring her to her friend's house so that I can be here and recording. And I'm getting like anxiety and stress. And I say to my 4.5-year old, I'm really sorry, mom, I'm walking around like a crazy person right now. I just have like a
Aw.
lot on my plate. And that's self awareness, right? And like you have to learn from that. Like, all right, how can I be better tomorrow so that I don't make my 5-year-old an anxious kid? And that's a lot to say that like all of this is what I really put infuse into my books, and even not to get to the next series, but my next series is women's fiction, not as
Ooh.
much romance. So, and if you guys know or don't know, romance has to have a happily ever after at the end of it. That's what makes it a romance book. So in the next series, it's 3 different books, and it's women's fiction. So it's like the
Oh.
unhappily married gal, the motherhood, and all of that stuff. And all of that to say, it's just you write what you know as an author, and you sort of weave in the things that you learn, and you hope that as a reader, they just grasp at least one of those things, because it's not just
Mhm.
about Mia and Gennaro, having lots of sex. It's about those life moments and learning and growing
Mhm.
from them.
I personally loved how many layers. I love a book with layers. And I don't know what is it about Italians, but you guys write great books.
Nice.
This is the second Italian love novel I've read. And I feel like it makes me like I'm like love at first sight. I was just like, oh, I want that. I'm like, where's my Gennaro? So I feel
Yeah.
like, even though you're teaching people, it's still such a nice story. It's very realistic. And I fell in love with the character development, so I was just like, I feel like I know everyone. So you just made it feel very like homey feel. Like I felt like I was actually there.
Thank you. And that was actually a biggie because a first time author and self published, like a lot of us
Mhm.
sometimes you get a bad rap, like, oh, you're not traditionally published, like this book's just whatever. But I hired a professional editor, and I had my beta readers. I did everything the way I was supposed to. But I think too, my personality is like, I can meet a mom on the line at my daughter's school, and like it's not just surface. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm in love with her son now. That's what my daughter is now. So shout out to Lauren and Jack and Bryce. But that sort of stuff, that is me. Like like you guys, like if I ever saw you on Long Island, like it is, you have this connection to somebody that you shared, whatever hour or whatever that we're going to be talking. And that is what I put into my writing, because I fall in love with people and I want people to fall in love with the characters that I create. And that's been one of my favorite parts of being an author, is random people or even my family members and friends going, oh my God, Francesca, that bitch. Or,
Yes.
Yes.
Mama is like me, like Mama reminds me of my mother, or this person or that person. Like they all talk to me about me characters, and I say I'll sit on the couch with my husband at night watching Yellowstone, and I'm reading my DMs. I'm like, wait, somebody else hates Francesca, and he laughs, and I'm like, can you believe I made this shit up? And they love these
That is
people.
so good.
It's
That's
my
how I
favorite
feel.
part.
I feel like that's what you did really, really well, because I
Mm-hmm.
do love a romance book, but I've read so many and I don't feel, even if the storyline is good, I don't feel connected. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel in it. Like you're reading this book and you taste the food and you smell it and you feel it. And even if I may read this one part that I had just like put a little, like I folded the page just because this has nothing to do with the plot, but this is what you do so well to make us feel in the story. Like this just really made me feel it. So you wrote, I ate, slept for 12 hours straight, and woke up wrapped in 4 different blankets with a cold nose. The bedroom itself felt frigid, but I could see a bright, warm sun teasing me through the curtains. Like I am there. I'm
Yeah.
under those blankets. I feel it. I see a little sunlight coming through the window. I'm under, I just, that's what you did so well. And this has, that to me, I have chills reading it, and that has nothing to do with the storyline.
You should
And
write
that is
10
your
books.
gift. That is your
Yeah, you're
gift.
gifted.
And I mean, I hated Francesca and I loved, you also teased us because a big moment would happen, but having the two perspectives, you would be like, when you said, oh, who's pregnant? Your wife. Then you leave it. Then we jump to the next perspective. So like then we have to go see it through the other person's eyes before I know what Mia's thinking. And I'm like, oh my God, I could not put it down. Like it was so well done. So well
Thank
done.
you. You know what's
Yeah, that
actually very funny? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, the ending too, leaving like that cliff. I'm like, no, I need to know what happens. I
Yeah,
need my happy ending.
we
Well, it's funny
cannot
because
wait.
my friends and my family who read the first one and then had to wait, and they had to wait like 3/4 of a year for the next one. They hated me. But what I
Yes,
was gonna say, my
the
mom,
sign of a good book.
I don't know if like your parents did this, but when I was in school, my mother has like a giant bin of everything I've written and created from like kindergarten and probably till now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that she saved, I think I was 8 when I wrote it, it was talking about some people in heaven. And when it snows, it is I don't know, I forget what I wrote. The teardrops or the snowflakes from the people in heaven. And my mom said, she goes, Matt, with the New York accent, she goes, Matt, I knew you would be a writer when I read this. And this is, you've been telling good stories since you're 8 years old. And like
Yeah.
that is how I write stuff. I even write letters to my daughter on every birthday of hers, and it's like
Oh,
like all the like I make notes in my phone about
yeah.
like the Marina-isms, like what she said that year, and like
She is
favorite.
so cute.
She's
She is. I just watched her as a star on it. I watched that
oh,
video
the
twice of
salad
her
one.
making the salad. She did a whole little like tutorial. Just it was. I wanted that salad. It was
Yeah,
so good.
she's
She's
hilarious.
such
But
a little star.
thank you, and it's funny because she'll watch me do this stuff, and then like she'll see these. She's like, "Mom, did you do a recording?" She's gonna be fine, but she knows all the
Oh,
stuff.
she
Mom, are you
is
writing a
so
chapter?
mature.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Okay, speaking of food, what is your favorite Italian dish?
Oh God. Uh, you know what? I really do like a it's Italian American, because anybody who's actually Italian is going
Oh
to hear
yeah,
this thing.
they come at you.
Oh,
They're
there's
going
a
to want
big.
to.
Yeah, we heard that from the other author that Amanda was
Yeah.
referencing.
Hmm.
Sarah Arcuri, she wrote The Owner and the Wife,
Okay.
and she did an Italian American love novel. And people,
Mm.
she is an influencer in the Italian American community, and people love her. But people who are like Italian from Italy are not about it. They have like a thing against her.
It's bad. I have a handful of not good reviews, which was actually funny because when I first published my book, the first one, my brother was joking with me, my older brother. He's like, "Do you want me to go like put a shitty review somewhere so people don't think you paid for all these 5-star reviews?" And then eventually, like you get like the 2-star or whatever. And one of them was from somebody, I think either from Europe or from Italy. And they're like, well, she spelled mama with one M and it's supposed to be spelled with two. And
Oh
then I think at one
goodness.
part I referenced that like either Tuscany or Rome, one was south, and like I missed that and my editor missed it. Like, listen, you can't
Yeah.
please everybody and
We're
make
fine.
everything
Yeah.
perfect. But like I am
Perfect.
Italian American, and actually the Barada Babe, if you guys follow her on Instagram, she
Mhm.
has this whole thing, but she's like, I'm not trying to be Italian. I'm American with Italian roots, and that's very much how I feel. I don't know how
Mhm.
to speak Italian. I don't know how to say those words. So like the food that I love is like even like if you get like a chicken marsala with like fresh mozzarella on it
Mm,
over pasta. Like I don't like
Yeah.
the pasta with the red sauce. I like the pasta in like the sauce that the chicken's in, you know?
Mm. Mhm.
My husband jokes about it. He calls it chicken volo vent, but like he's the master chef in his house, Jay. And I said, if you could just feed me for the rest of my life, I'd be very happy. So
mm.
I don't really have a favorite. Literally anything he would make me, I could tell you is my favorite.
Aw.
But I'm a pasta, pizza, everything. I just love everything.
I'll
I love
echo
eating.
that. Love
Yeah,
pasta and pizza.
Yep.
I
Oh,
don't get sick of it ever.
Mm. Now I'm hungry.
I know. Sorry. Well,
when you read other books, are you into romance books? Like, what do you pick? What's your go-to?
yes, I like romance. I love romance. Actually, now if I'm reading, I feel guilty because I'm not writing. But
Mm,
from Vivio Memento to Bella Vita, I feel like my dialogue and my banter got even better because I read a bunch of books in the middle. And one of my
Mhm.
local author friends, Carissa Kinwood, she has a book, Christmas in Coconut Creek. It's one of my favorites. She was so great at dialogue that I just got better with it for the second book.
mm,
But I do love romance. I like easy to read. Same sort of like I don't like my TV. Actually, no. I like my TV shows violent, like Yellowstone, Game of Thrones.
Amanda can relate.
that's
Yeah,
me.
come on, the Peaky Blinder, like all of that stuff. I love
Yep.
just watching that because like that stuff's not going to happen in my real life. So I could
Yeah.
like detach myself and then just watch it. But I like to read easy page turning romance that's just relatable, and that's really what I write. So.
Oh, no thrillers?
Not really. No. I mean, not that I wouldn't, but even did you guys read Verity from Colleen Hoover?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like I could not put it down. I was like an addict while I was reading it. I could not put it down. But then when I finished it, I'm like, I don't like how I feel after I read that. You know, like
Yeah. Oh, well,
I
even if you
will.
get into her thoughts.
I will say this. First of all, I highly, highly recommend you read Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. It is
I did.
perhaps her best. Oh, you did? Did you love it?
I love that
I
book.
I do I do like Colleen Hoover, and I feel like I write similarly to her. Like we're not like
Yeah.
people really just talk,
I
either they
love
love
to hate
her.
successful women. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah, like we're not writing like groundbreaking literature. We're writing things that are like an escape that like you enjoy
we're
reading.
enjoying, yes, we're living in the moment. We're enjoying this.
Yeah.
For me, Verity, I think the downfall for me was also that there was so much hype, and everyone was like, when I read it, I was like, wow, this is the book. Because for me, the part that was hard, I don't mind an occasional thriller as like a palate cleanser. It would never be something, if I didn't have a podcast that's like helping me also expand my reading palette and like be exposed to different genres, I would only probably read like romance, maybe romantasy. That's basically it.
Hmm.
But with Verity, when I started reading the parts about the children, like, kind of like sticking her finger down, like down their throats, and the drowning, and it was too. I was like, this is what you guys are going
Oh my
crazy
God. I was
for. Like,
like,
I was so. Amanda's like, I need someone
I'm
to
sick.
die. I need there to be a horrible ending. I need someone to come up from the floor and just. I'm like, I could not relate, but it's funny because we balance each other.
Yeah.
But I love a thriller if I'm watching it. I just cannot.
I think I'm the same as you. I like watching that stuff.
Yeah.
Like same as like the action and
Mhm.
like Vikings. That's another recent fave of
Yep.
mine. Just them
Good one.
completely axing necks off. Like I love it. And they're like, I'm sorry, you write romance, but you like watching this stuff. I'm like, yes, I do. But when I'm reading, like I kind of want to feel like I'm in a cozy blanket when I'm reading, and that's why I like the romance.
Do you have a
Um,
favorite book, like your all-time favorite you would recommend someone to read?
No, not really. I don't. I Malibu Summer was the first book that I ever read when I was probably like 12 or 13. That was the book that got me into like a love of reading. And then I've just read a lot of books since then. I lost my taste for reading, and then I think like everybody else with COVID, it came back.
yeah,
So I read a lot of Colleen Hoover because Colleen Hoover
Mhm.
blew up during COVID.
she was the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
we love her.
and those books that you just don't want. Like I want to read. If I read a book and after the first chapter I'm not like, oh shit, I have to read that next chapter. It's not going to keep my attention. So since then, I've gotten into Colleen Hoover. I love Lena Hendricks. She's actually one of the first authors that ever like responded to my DMs when I started doing all of this stuff. So she holds a special place in my heart. Jennifer Probst is a local Hudson Valley author to me as well. She's like half self-published, also has a publisher. And who is Carissa Kinward I mentioned, and then there was somebody else. Oh, Abby Jimenez. She got pretty popular too. If you guys haven't read her, I believe you would love her as well.
Perfect. And I just had another, just because I'm thinking about our listeners. Is there any advice? Obviously, I like the advice if you can't tell. Is there any
Yeah.
advice you would give someone that's looking to get started? I know you said you went to Italy and that kind of like inspired you to just do it. Is there any advice to kind of getting started? I know some people like to do a retreat and that kind of like gets them out of the headspace to write. Is there any like courses you took, anything that, helped you?
Yes. So when I first realized I wanted to write, I Googled how to write a romance novel. And then a bunch of books popped up. And actually, two of them were Write Naked and Write True. And they were by Jennifer Probst. And that's how I got close to her. And then
Oh,
realized that she was Hudson Valley based. She had her own book. She was another author that was so graciously responded to my DM. I also got another book that was Write the Damn Book Already, because you'll meet so many people in your life that are like, I've always wanted to write a book, and they're like, I
me.
don't know what it. Yeah, so that's exactly that. So I read these books first, and then I got this like increase, like, oh shit, yeah, I could do this, right? And then Elizabeth Lyons, who wrote Write the Damn Book Already, she also has a course, Publish a Profitable Book, which she actually rebranded since that's Publish the Damn Book Already to match her book's title. And it's like a full start to end course about, how to get started, how you get your ISBN numbers, how you get registered on Amazon, how you
Oh,
get
Yeah.
roll on Ingram Spark for wholesale so that stores can purchase your book, cover design, formatting, all of that stuff. I learned from her singular course, which I do have linked in my bio on Instagram. Um, but it's do a Google search and just start there, depending on whatever it is you want to write about. There are actually so many resources that the hardest part is sort of like weeding through them to find the one that's
Hmm.
right for you, because you do have to find somebody that you vibe with. And then even after I took Liz's course, she's not a romance girl. So I was like, how do I find a romance editor? And she's like, why don't you send
Hmm.
me, a few chapters of what you have? And I actually have a voicemail saved from her. She goes, I would love to work with you on this chick. And she said, because I think you're my Colleen Hoover. I was like, get out of here. I started crying on the spot.
Oh
So you
my
just have to,
goodness.
yeah, you just have to find the people that you vibe with like that. And then she has like, it depends. She has a writing group where people meet weekly. I'm a true Scorpio. I am extroverted right
Me
now.
too.
oh,
Yeah,
Oh
perfect.
like
my goodness.
I can chat with you girls because, like, I'm just into it right now. And then after this, I will be sitting on the couch with like a sandwich in solitude, and I won't want to speak to anybody.
I'm like that.
So like,
I think you
like,
just diagnosed me. Like
yeah,
that's
we have quite a trifecta here, girls. We have
yes.
lots
Literally.
of
Look at us.
similarities.
You're like a nice
Yes.
Um,
blend of us.
We really, I'm telling you, when we saw your social media, I was like, and I knew, I didn't need to ask. I knew you were from New York. I was like,
yeah,
or Jersey, one of the two. I didn't need to know. I already knew.
yeah, you the
I,
hand.
I
Every time
felt
I'm
called
doing
Instinctual.
to you. I was
this,
like, she's family. Like,
yeah, thank you.
We all talk with our hands too.
Oh my god, I do so many reels. I'm like, Mary, gotta calm down with the friggin' hands.
no, please, everybody go
I
follow
love it.
Mary on social media. What is it? Mary.bell.books
Yes, and the
at
bell has an E in it. Yep.
Mary.bell.books. Yes, Belle is Belle. Oh my goodness. I love your content. You're doing
Thank
an
you.
amazing job.
You know what? Everybody says that, and then I'm so mad because I feel like I've been doing it for forever. And then like you get the people who just like write the smutty quotes or the things that like really grab people's attention for like like it's like I don't know, sex
Yeah.
sells, right? And they got the 10, 20, 30,000 followers or whatever. So like I get really down on myself because I'm like, okay, we're almost at 4,400, whatever I'm at. I don't even know. I stopped
Yeah.
counting because it gives me agita. And I really love my content. And like I said in the beginning of our recording, be yourself always, and the right people will find you. So every time I start to feel down about that, I just like, you gals are so wonderful. And for you to just say that, like, you fell in love with my social media, like, that's the point of that. Because if you like me on that, you're going to like reading my books because I write all my characters similarly, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like too, even though it is like an Italian love novel, I feel the New York and New Jersey. Like I feel
Yeah.
like these people are
Hmm.
people that I would chill with and that I would
Yes.
gravitate towards.
And a lot of
I
them are
loved
based on like
Allie.
friends. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh,
Everybody
Allie,
wants
she
to.
was that girl. I was like, I love her. She's a
Yeah.
ride or die friend. She will check you. She reminded me of Amanda. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. Just do it. Just enjoy it. Just like, you're always going to find more ways why you shouldn't than why you should. And it's like, she
Mhm.
was just like her grounding force. And I loved that.
You're gonna love her in Bella. She's
Oh,
hilarious.
I'm so
Everybody.
excited.
Listen, Mary, if they don't end up together, I will be mad.
No, well, sorry, you just have to read. But everybody wants an Ally spinoff.
Love
And I
her.
think eventually I'll get back there. But actually, to talk about the New York part, I do want to eventually write like a Southern cowboy romance, but with not a
Oh,
Southern
I would love
cowgirl,
that.
but with like a city New Jersey girl transplant into the South, and I
Yeah.
want her to like fall in love with like a Rip Wheeler, like he could
Oh.
kill somebody with his bare hands, but he would do anything to protect her. Like, and my husband is literally Rip Wheeler. Like, that is him, and he is Rip, and I just love him so much. And I'm like, babe, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go research down south so that we can get
I
some
want to
more.
beta read that.
Oh yes!
Yes.
Oh my God! Yes, I'm so excited. But that I
I'm
think that's gonna be next.
I'm a Mary Bell stan. I cannot wait. So
Oh,
tell us a little bit about your next. So you are doing a women's fiction series. When can we expect that? At what
little
point are
teaser.
you at right now?
Yes. So I'm about 4 chapters into book one. So it is going to be a 3 book series. Each book is going to be a different friend. And they all vacation in Atlantic City for 1 week every summer. So the book
Love it.
is 1 week vacation in AC. What happens in AC stays in AC. And each book is a different friend. So, like I said, the unhappily married one, the one who struggles with motherhood, and then the single crazy friend, kind of like Sex in the City vibes, but in Atlantic City. And it's more like, again, I just turned 40, and a lot of my characters, like everybody's like, oh, who's that about? Which character is that? Which friend is that? And like, not even Allie is like, it's made up of 2 of my best friends and like so much other stuff. Like there's not one person. You can't do that. You'd isolate half your family and friends if you did that. But so these books too, everybody's gonna be like, oh, who's that book about? Like, which friend of yours is that? It's not. It's a little combination
Blended.
of everybody that I know and love, including, me too, because again, you write what you know. And even sometimes too, it has nothing to do with your real life. Like I could find
Hmm.
a scene on Yellowstone where like Rip and Beth are adorable together, and I'm like, yes, I want to write about something similar to this. Like that's all inspiration. It doesn't only have to come from your real life. So the first book of that, I'm hoping that it will be out. My goal is by Memorial Day because it's going to be like a summertime Jersey thing.
Hmm.
And then I'll just work on the other 2 books after that. It is really hard being a mom, regardless of how fantastically wonderful my husband is. He's like he's just the best. And my mother and my mother-in-law are so helpful with everything too. But it's hard.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you, thank you.
Do
But
you
yeah, I
have a
have
dog?
no, no dogs. I love
I had
dogs,
to
but
ask.
I love dogs too, but I don't have a dog.
no, no, I would not be able to handle that as well. But like I said,
No, I
I'm a pretty
totally
calm
understand.
gal, not super duper
Yeah.
dramatic, but like I know what I can handle, and that is not on the list, girls.
How
I
long
like,
did it take you to write these books?
Vivian Memento, I wrote the story in 2 months, in February and March, and then I sent it to the
Wow.
editor. Yeah,
Mary.
yeah,
that
but
was a quick.
I've learned that my writing time is the winter, where there's not much going on,
Oh,
because
wow.
I have a big family, I have a lot of friends, and I am like the meme, being an adult is just saying it'll slow down soon until you die. Like it doesn't slow down ever. So like even now, my husband, he's like, "Ooh, did you have time to write anything today?" I'm like, we didn't. And then my
Yeah.
mom came a couple weeks ago, and I got 2 chapters done, which is great. But like she lives in Jersey, so she can't be here every day.
Yeah.
So it'll be helpful when my daughter is in full time school. But I don't know. I have so many different books that are right here. I just need the time to do it. And the more I talk to, and thank you ahead of time before we close, but I'm just so thankful to people like you because you're as an indie author, like I said earlier, sometimes you're like frowned upon that you're not traditionally published or that you took a shortcut or whatever. But when you hear how much people enjoy your writing, like really like relate to it and it resonates with them, you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing this correctly. And everybody doesn't have to agree, but as long as I feel good going to bed at night, like, wow, okay, people really love what I'm writing. Like that's what it's all about.
You're right up there with Colleen Hoover. That's what
Thank
I think. I
you.
mean, for your first book, it's amazing how much I felt there. Like I just, there's authors that have so many books out and I don't feel that, it's just,
Thank
it's so
you.
different. It's more intimate. That's the word I would use. Very intimate. I like
Thank
that.
you.
And I would say the fact that you did self-publish and like going through it every step, you're saying that you started from a Google search. I mean, that's so, I mean, it's so admirable. You're definitely
Tired.
inspiring me. I, my mom always says, I know you have a book in you, and I know it and I feel it too. And I've always been a writer and very creative, and
Yeah.
it's just
And
sitting down to do it.
it's a lot of these, reader girlies and the bookstagrammers, a lot of them that I see start by reading, and then like
Yeah.
feel the same way. And then you like that's what I'm very like envious of that. A lot of them have like 10, 20,000 followers and then they decide they're gonna write a book one day and they have 10, 20,000 people
Yes.
who are
Yep.
already watching them. And so that was very difficult for me because like, I started with zero, so like
Yep.
whatever I'm at now, almost 5,000, whatever, like I
You'll
keep
get there.
yeah, I just have to keep, and my husband says the same thing too. And we want to do cookbooks, and I want to do kids books. Like we have a whole family
Yeah.
thing that we're dying to do that like is just very difficult to do when you don't have the time. You just have to make the time, and you have to enjoy the journey. He reminds me of that all the time. My husband, like if we're not
Oh,
enjoying the journey, what the hell are we doing this for? And like it's very difficult. So financially it's hard. I don't have another salary and there's a lot of people who write part-time, but like we are balls to the wall here. Like,
yeah.
and I have wonderful family and I have a lot of help and a lot of support, but it's still very scary because you don't know what's going to happen. You're just taking a big, huge risk. But I'm so happy. And I think that's my personal version of romance is like finding the person who just makes you a better person and supports you so much. Like my dream is his dream, and like I said to everybody, I said I want to sell enough books to retire my husband and enjoy the rest of my life with him and our family. And that's my own romance. But really, like you need to have supportive people around you in order to move forward too. Because again, my kid is at a preschool friend's house right now and it's 7:15 at night. Like you need people in your corner to help you push the needle forward.
I
Oh,
get
first
you.
of all, I love your love. Are you crying,
I
Amanda?
know. I know. I'm like,
uh
It is so beautiful. I think we can relate to because look, we started at zero too with our podcast.
Mhm.
I think it takes community. It takes us doing things like this. You never know what introduction you're going to have. Just like you started, you had all of these mentors that helped you get to the next step and to the next without having known your journey when you
Mhm.
started. I will say, I think for us, um, having these connections and also TikTok has been
TikTok.
our thing.
I know.
That's the one. Instagram, you guys got to get it together. The algorithm sucks.
Hmm.
Like they're burying such amazing content and it's just like not the same. We have had like with fewer followers before. Now our TikTok is just growing, but we've had like videos are go over hundreds of thousands of views
Wow. Okay.
on TikTok and we'll post the same video on Instagram and we're like at
Yeah.
like 300 views and it's just like
Ooh, I hope one of
I
our clips goes far.
yes we'll
Oh,
put
yes,
well
we're gonna
that for
put.
sure. I mean, are you kidding? You are amazing.
And we have
I
an
know it will.
amazing social media shout out Austin. He clips all our
Yes,
videos, so he'll make it good.
he
Cool.
does like the little animations and stuff that you see on our clips
Yeah.
and then
Well,
you
actually,
might
I was followed because I'm more of an Instagram girly, but like I do love TikTok. I have a hard time again with my limited time. Not that everybody else doesn't have
post
limited
your
time.
same exact thing and you'll see that it'll go so far. Don't even tell like what you're doing is amazing.
Oh,
I'm telling you, TikTok is the way to go and they better not ban it. But
Hmm.
it just organically reaches people in your audience. Like we'll chat too about it, like
Yeah.
strategy and stuff
Yep.
offline. Like we'd love to help. We're all in the same
oh yeah.
community, and we are here for you as well. But
Hmm.
I really think like you have something so special and you really stood out to us and like we Loved you before we met you, and even more now.
I was so
Thank
excited.
you. Oh my goodness, girls. Thank you. And I really made my heart warm, you just getting emotional with my stuff with my husband because, too, I think if there's any naysayers, they're like, oh my God, he's probably annoying. Like, we've been married for 14 years. And like I said, we've had plenty of downs, like bad downs. And the thing, too, with love and relationships is like when you find the person who really wants to work things through with you, it doesn't matter what you go through. And like I said, that he reminds me all the time, like if you're not enjoying the journey, it's not worth it. And halfway through our journey, like
Such a
it was
crybaby.
not enjoyable. Um, but I have a person that was able to work through it with me, and he never gave up on me or us. And that's a real life thing. So I could sit here like maybe years ago if I was like, yeah, he's great, and then there was a dot dot dot, and he would have said the same thing, like, "Oh, she's wonderful," but then there was a dot 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 because like halfway through, that 7 year itch or whatever it is, you lose sight of why you fell in love with somebody, and life tries to just take them away in certain ways, and you
Yeah.
forget it's like a journey that's been covered with like a lot of shit, and you have to uncover that. So that's my advice, non-book related, for any female watching this. If you have to question, if he, truly loves you and wants to do life with you, and if you know, can't imagine yourself with him when you're 80, like he's not the person for you, because that was a big thing when him and I went through. We did a lot of therapy, and I would always say to myself, my best friend, who's half a valley, she would always ask me. She said, "What do you picture your life like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, right? And do you picture that with him?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I just
Mm.
not the way that it's going right now." But we did so much work in order to get that, and now I'm at the place where if he was not here, I wouldn't know what to do. And you could see that too. I don't post that many things with my daughter and him on my public, just because people are weird. But she's a super daddy's girl because he just loves her with his whole heart, and that's
Mm.
how he loves me. And it's all of like the stuff that I write about. So
I was gonna say with Gennaro like still fighting for her and doing all these things, I was like, okay, I'm seeing a little bit of the inspiration.
yeah, and
Not
that's my
giving up.
favorite. That's my favorite kind of person, is the person who fights for you and fights for your relationship, and he's a good, respectful man, and he just thinks of other people before he thinks of himself. And I love him more every day, which again is like a corny Hallmark card, but it's true. When you're with the person who's right for you, you should feel that way, because when we're younger, and again, Mia throwing lingerie, that's memoir, that chapter. That was an ex-boyfriend. That happened in real life. I threw lingerie at him.
Wow.
Happened to all of us.
Yeah, and you sit there and you go home and you're like, oh my God, my life is ruined. And he
Like,
was the
what am I
guy.
doing?
No, he
Yes.
wasn't, sister.
And it was just like it was so relatable because it's like
Hmm.
that guy that's just like so in your head, but it's not even like close to what, you're
Yeah.
describing. It's
He's
just,
like an F boy.
and it's like so all
Yeah.
consuming in the moment. And it's like the most devastating thing, but that that's not what your story is. That's not
No. And then
what
even
is
when
your happy
you
ending.
find that guy who's perfect for you, again, that's another big lesson. You do finally find that person. You're like, wow, this is it, right? That's what happened with Jay. Like, he was the one who was like, no, that asshole was not it for you. And he was my person. And even still, it's super hard. And you just every stage of your life, you just keep growing and evolving. So it's the same thing, right? It's everything that I've said over and over. You're kind of a consistent gal. Your career, writing your books, you're just going to keep growing and evolving and learning. And as so long as it's the place that you're meant to be, like, you just keep getting better. So I know this is the career for
Hmm.
me. I know writing books is what is it for me. And I know this is the person that I'm meant to be with, and it's what has helped bring me here, because you could really write true to like the gentlemanly nature of like the men that I like to write about. That I like sexy stuff, but I like a gentleman. Like, dark romance, not for me. If you choked me, I'd fucking
Agree.
punch you in the face. I
Love
Yeah.
that.
don't know. I
No.
would throw you out a window. No, thank you.
I
So
plead the fifth on that topic.
Like, I will just, I draw the line at like spitting and the degrading stuff. I
yeah,
just
just
Guys are
Amanda.
guys are
You.
vanilla.
can't.
Oh my God. So,
You
anyways,
said
yeah,
you like 365 days.
well, I like it was a guilty pleasure, and like when you're watching him, you're like convincing yourself, could I do this? And I'm like, nah, no.
No. I was like, someone kidnap me, make me love you.
Stop. Why don't you tell Mary your favorite book trope before we go?
Oh
Uh,
no. I feel like I
Go
I
ahead,
like
tell her.
definitely someone getting killed. I know we mentioned that. Like I need someone to die in a book just because I want to guess who did it.
No,
I know it's
but the one I'm talking about is when you always like to say like the falling in love with your captor kind of thing. Like that is
oh
just
those are also
crazy
okay.
work.
We're talking about love. Yeah, those are I love books where like yeah you get kidnapped
Just
and
like
and
Beauty
then
and
you
the
just
Beast.
like you just
she's wild.
exactly. I love
She's
that. But
I
Did you
like I
ever read
also
Willow Winters?
no, would I like it?
Well, I have not read it, but she got really popular on Book Talk and
Oh,
Bookstagram. Willow Winters. I forget the title of it. Maybe All He Ever Was or something. You'll find it immediately. She wrote like a modern day Beauty and the Beast, and it's supposedly really
oh,
smutty, like really smutty.
oh, I love that. That's perfect for me.
She
Yeah,
said that
I
like it
like
was so romantic. Oh, I love that.
yeah, I like even romance like stuff. Like I would say Italian love novels are my like exception because it's so different. It's more in depth and so many layers. But I like ones that have like a twist or doesn't have a happy ending because I'm like, that happens, that's life.
It is, yeah,
I'm
I
awful.
get it. That's actually the one thing. There was some, like I said earlier, there were some people who are like, okay, man, this is like fantasy. This would never happen in real life. But like, it could, you know?
Especially I feel
no,
like the
I thought it was pretty it's not cheesy. That's what it is.
yeah,
It's
it's
not at
definitely not.
all
Nope.
cheesy. And Amanda loved It Ends With Us and Reminders of Him. Just something that has a little more depth, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
Got some
So
layers.
you can picture yourself in it and feel it and that's
Hmm.
the difference.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be calling Hoover one day. I'm manifesting this for you.
Yes, we need this to be a movie. Everybody listen up. We are doing this. We are fully on board.
Oh my
Thank
Whatever
God,
you.
we
we
need
have
to
to do the
do to get this in
casting.
production. Yeah, and can we
Oh,
make a cameo? That is my
Yeah.
only request.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Yes.
And Austin, please snip the shit out of all of this. Okay.
Yes.
Let's
We
tag
always
all of
tell him,
our.
we're like, Austin, clip this. In
Yes.
yep.
every episode, you'll hear
He
it.
likes the shout
But
outs.
yes,
Yes.
for sure. Mary, we have so enjoyed our time here with you.
Thank
The
you.
lessons, the laughs, the book talk and beyond. I mean, you are welcome back on any time. Maybe we'll talk when you do your new series
Mhm.
coming out next year.
Perfect.
And if you're ever in Florida, please let us know. We're in the Fort Lauderdale area. That's where our
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
studio is. So you
Awesome.
can
Thank you
come
so
in
much for
person. We'll
having
have
me.
wine. Thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.